Right, today's video is on the prawn pot. Now I know quite a few of you have been patiently waiting for this one. It's what we've caught so far. Now what I've decided to do is do parts. I was going to just do a whole thing on the prawn pot, but the video is going to get very long. And so I decided to put this up now. The first catch some of you would have already seen, but for the benefit of those who haven't seen the first catch, it will be included at the beginning of the video. And hopefully, like I say, there will be more parts coming on the prawn pot as we move forward, because the thing with prawns is they tend to be more prevalent late summer. That's what I remember when I was younger, that late summer to autumn was always the time for the big prawns. So we'll see when the time comes. I went for a scout around. You may have seen that in the previous video, I think it would have been, where I just went down with the prawn net. Now I went to get some for the tank, but at the same time it was a scouting mission to see what the situation was with the prawns around there. Was there many? And I did actually go before that video just in a pool and had a look, and to be honest, it's pretty poor at the moment around there. I mean, there's a lot of just little tiny ones. There wasn't even any decent sized ones, so maybe it is still a bit early. Maybe they're just not going to show around that area this year much. I don't know. At some point we will do a trip with the prawn net to a location where we will get loads. And when I say we get loads, the last time we took a trip to that location, I filled up basically a bucket like that full of big prawns. Now I don't go there that often, and I tend not to go in the daytime either, so it'll be a nighttime video. It's pure and simple, I don't want to disclose the location because it is a fantastic place, and you only get a certain time you can, I say a certain time you can get them. There's a certain time where they'll concentrate into a certain area, and you can just go in, scoop up a bunch, and you're done. But we'll get to that later on. I might do that maybe nearer the winter. We'll see how we get on with that one. Like I say, I will go down there. It'll be at night. I'll go and do that one, not in the day. Now, hopefully, like I said, there'll be more of these videos coming, but this is the first part. So let's see what we caught in the prawn pot. Well, the rope sunk, which is good. This one doesn't, but it's still sunk good. I want to make sure I had enough depth as well at the high tide, because it's tied up quite a lot. Now, I'm expecting nothing, so just so you know. But I think it's too early. Wow! 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 It's got no prawns. There you go, first drop of the prawn pot. Just with a small neck, a little bit of mackerel in there, just in a bag there. 24 hours, not even 24 hours. And look at that, eh? I mean, there's a lot. That's a nice big lobster. That's over legal size easily. But look at that one that was in there with it. That's huge. Putting the pot here because I have had prawns here with like the shrimp head. Don't see any prawns. What I do see is another lobster. There's 3 lobsters in 2 days. This one's undersized, but quite funny. It's turning into a awesome lobster pot, this thing. Well, I was looking for my gauge, but I can see that's too small, so I'll put it back. What else have we got? We've got another small spider crab. Little weedy one. Very small velvet swimming crab. and dog whelps. And it's starting to rain, but no prawns. Oh well, let me, I'm going to change the bait in it today because this bait's going to be getting a bit nasty. And I don't know what prawns are like, fresh or old, I really don't know. Right, now, time to try a mighty prawn pot again. Probably just move this pot a little bit out in the middle of nowhere just for a few days while we have the big tides, just so it doesn't dry out because it's quite shallow. It's a bit close to the shore. Somebody's been at the top. Look at that. Somebody's left it undone. There's some scumbags around here. They might have done it under the water. Tell you what's really weird is I've got no prawn, but there's a cast off or a prawn shell there, floating around the surface. Yes, it's possible. You see the crab coming out. It's possible somebody, snorkeler or diver or something's been here because it's only very shallow. They probably opened it, took whatever was out of it, which is probably another lobster, and then just left it. This island's getting from bad to worse. You've always had a few scumbags, but it's becoming a very current thing these days, all this bloody thievery. About time a few fingers got chopped off. Because I know the day before I didn't actually open the end, I just went straight in the top to take out a small lobster. Getting your hand in this pot even diving would be tricky, especially if you've got a wetsuit on. But we'll put a little bit of bait up. Didn't get that. Yeah, see, nothing in it. Oh, there's a spider crab. No prawns, of course. If I can get to that. A little spider crab. And we've also caught a little hermit crab. But again, today is closed. Just a babby again. Because there's a rock there that'll push us over to it. Check it out! It's a giant! So cool though. Right, popping back. Still no prawns. Fish head is where it should be now. Just like that. So I've got a hole in the net bag, that's the problem. I'll have to sort out. no, we'll try somewhere else with it. Like I say, you've got to be right in the right spot to get prawns. I mean, you get these little tiny ones, but they'll go through the net all the time. We're trying to find bigger stuff. Right. Get a bit of bait for that. Hold on, hold on. What have we got in here? Well, we've got the obligatory spider crab. And there is something else. We have caught one of the smallest pollock you'll ever see. Look at that. Baby pollock. Oop. I'll leave that one in on the bag. Right, let me get him back because I don't want him out the water too long. Little fella. Trouble when they come up, deep and full of. Oh, he's going. He's actually going. Good. A minute there, I didn't think he was going to make it, but yeah, he's alright. I'm going to get rid of some of these doglets. See, this is the trouble, is the bait is falling out of the bag all the time, the bait bag. Because the bait bag's got hold of it. See where we go with it. Trying to get some ropes ready for it. Because we need this rope will be the surface rope, I think. And I need a rope to another pot, so we're going to need an anchor pot. Well, actually, this won't be. This will be the in-between rope. Thinking about it. So what I need to do now is go and grab a pot, and I'm thinking of grabbing one of the bay ones because one of them's weedy, and if I put it out really deep, it'll kill the weed. And nothing in here but seaweed bugs, is it? No bait either. So hold on. Yeah, this one will do, I think. Oh, it's got a nice lobster in it. Well, there's a bonus. Good start. Grab it out, it's caught up in the net a little bit. Look at that for a nice lobster in the bay. Absolute cracker, that one. And of course he's grabbed on, as they always do. There we go. Look at that. What a beauty. Right. One thing I'm short of today is buckets as well. Right, I'll put that down there for now. Let's get organised here, because like I said, this has got to go out. There's actually a shanny in here as well. Let me just grab that. And I've got bait over here. All for a little fish. Just a little shanny. Get it back, I'm not going to mess around. Right. Okay. So I'm going to need to cut this rope. Here. Right, we're going to just get this sorted. We're going to drop them near our deep water set to start with, just for now. We can move them around over the next week. Like I said, the tide's getting smaller, so it's ideal. Just check the ropes are good. We'll put a little bit bigger bait because we're going to be dropping it on a very open area to start with. I wouldn't expect too much, but it's just going to be interesting to see what we can catch. We'll start off in about 70 feet of water, and then next week, if it calms down, the nip tides get really small, then we will take it and push it to maybe 140 feet. We'll double it. Just doing all these ropes, I need to make sure that I've got plenty of rope. There's plenty of rope between the pots for the lift. We don't want to be lifting particularly two pots at the same time. And now I just need to add on this one. I think this one about back this way a little bit. A little bit of rock there. I don't want to really put the short pot on the rock. Not for the first drop. The trouble is the rocks, when they're deep, they're very barnacly and that, very rough. There's no weed on them, so it can damage the net, and this isn't the sort of pot you want in rough ground, really. Not out deep anyway. Okay, first pot away. Pot away. There you go. Whoa, gone. Now we're good. We're good. Right, we've arrived at the prawn pots. Prawn pot / crab pot. The other thing with having this pot out, it's very weedy. It's on open ground, it might appear like a little bit of a refuge or reef, even though it's caught absolutely nothing. Okay, now the prawn pot. And the prawn pot. Over. Any prawns? Not seeing any prawns. I'm seeing. Anyway. Let's just tilt this down for you a bit. I am seeing the obligatory spider crab. There's always a little spider crab in there. And what is this? Not a prawn, it's another lobster. This thing is one hell of a lobster pot, I tell you that much. It's absolutely amazing, this, for a lobster. I mean, this has just been dropped in the middle of nowhere, this pot, on the open. And it can still find a lobster, and a legal one as well. I tell you, it's doing really well on lobster. In fact, it's doing better than the lobster pots. But, like I say, no prawns. The only thing I've got to keep an eye out for is there's no holes in this pot as well, because it doesn't take much to let out prawns. Yeah, well, like I say, we'll keep trying, and we'll try in this depth again, because I haven't got the rope to go too deep at the moment, but we'll put on more rope in a day or so, and we'll take it even deeper. And this is coming out this net thing because it's okay, and this one's got a bit of rockfish, so we're good. Not have to worry about bait. This pot is insane. It really is. It again has another lobster. Look at it. Nearly every lift this thing gets a lobster. No matter where you put it. And again, it's a legal lobster. I mean, we're not going to get giants in this pot simply because we've only got a small net. But it sure is catching them. And they're legal. I say they're legal, we've had a lot of small ones as well in the bay and that. But it's remarkable how well it's doing. I wasn't going to bother with the prawn pot today, but I changed my mind because, well, I mean, it's every lift out here so far it's had a lobster after 24 hours. But the main reason is I want to change the bait. We've got fish bait, but I want to try crab. I know you catch dog whelks and things on crab, and you know, I just want to try different things because after all it is an experiment. So the pots are going to be stuck out here for a few days once it goes back, so just well do that now, and then I think there's a little bit of bad as well. So coming next week sometime. So I'll probably have to pull the pot out of here, even though I haven't gone as deep as I want to go. I was going to do that on the smallest tides, but with this crappy thunderstorms and wind coming. Oh, it has today. Lovely. Nice lobster. Get it down in a sec. Spider crabs. This pot is unreal. This is holy cow. This has shocked me actually, this. Why has it shocked me? There's a bloody great lobster in here. There's two lobsters in here. I just noticed there's two. Look at the size of them. How am I going to get them out? Oh, I can open the end, I suppose. Come on, let's go. Into the net. Every time I go to get go, he grabs the net. Come on. Look at that. That's a cracking lobster. But that's not the big one. I wonder if I can get the big one through this net. I didn't realise I could get a lobster that big in a hole that small. Just goes to show. Wow, this pot is... I'm making more of these pots and I'm making them for lobster. I'm not making them for prawns. Holy cow. Lady crab, let me get that out. I'm just waiting a sec because this lobster's facing me at the moment. I don't know what that means. Actually, let me get this one out and let's try it out. That's the lobster in that pot, in the regular pot, which is smaller than the one that's in the other pot. As you can see, that's the prawn pot one. Let me... I don't know how it got in there. Lady crab, I'll use that bait as well. Or do I want to go with crab? I will try it with crab. I mean, it is after prawns after all. Look at that thing! Look at that! In a prawn pot! I mean, I say a prawn pot. I mean, how does it go in there? I suppose it just tucks its claws in, and but that's got to be as big as you'll get in one of these pots. I mean, look at the size of the hole, the neck. Ugh. It's tiny, and it had that in it. Well, it had 2 lobsters in it. That is fantastic. Like I say, I am so going to be building more of these pots. Not, like I say, not for prawn as such, but I mean, the thing is, they haven't had a good run for the prawn yet, and they may still end up catching prawns and stuff, so it'd be well worth making a couple more. We'll do a couple next year, I think. And like I say, we're in the middle of nowhere, really. I'm not particularly potting in rock for lobster or anything like that. They're certainly catching. Oh, there's a hole there, actually. Let's put it there. That's right. Ah! There's actually a gap here that the prawns probably can get out. Yes. Didn't see that. The lobsters obviously didn't get through it, but it's very likely. Yeah, now that first lift we did, the very first one, when we pulled up the prawn pot after 24 hours and had those 2 nice lobsters, it had that big one and it had that other one, or the 2 size ones. I thought that was exceptional, you know, just to see that. And then to do it again with even bigger lobsters, that's just, what a pot. And the beauty of that pot is, you only need to put a small piece of bait in it. I mean, I've been baiting, not this time, I had a bit of rockfish in there, but quite often I've just been baiting it with a mackerel head, you know? You can see I'm in the lobster shed at the moment. I've just been cooking a couple of lobsters. Lobster. Actually steaming them, just like the camera is now. Give it a minute, it'll clear. We hope. Are you clearing it? No. It'll clear any second. Let me do it from the other side, just so we can get an idea here. How the heck? And there you go. It could walk through there, look. You're not going to get much bigger. You might get a fraction bigger, maybe. If the claws are any bigger, you wouldn't. These claws aren't huge on this lobster. But that's, weighed it earlier, it was just over 2.5 pounds, 2.5 to 2 3/4 pound. So, that shows that it can get through that net. Well, we know it gets through because it was in the pot, but I'm just a bit fascinated at how it does it. Because lobsters always go through, they always go through forwards. They never go into a hole that they don't know backwards. They always go in forwards first, because obviously they don't know what's in the hole. There you go. So that was the one from today, and that is absolute stonker really for the little prawn pot. Right, I'll put them in here. And that was the other one. That was in the prawn pot, so we'll put it in there as well. And that was a good size one too. You know, these prawn pots, they certainly work. Trouble is, you can't get much bigger in them, and I reckon we could get bigger lobster. Trouble is, if I put a bigger neck in, then we're going back to a normal pot. But we'll have to see.